Bruce sees all.
We know it's not a bird, but what the hell is it? If it's on the moon, close to the surface, also plunge inside of those, I think, clouds or some type of haze. But seriously, how could we characterize this in ufology as a UFO? If there are living organisms up there on the moon and I'm seeing it here from Earth, even though it's very small and I zoomed it up, do you have any idea? Here's converted. Do you have any, look at the smokes. Do you have any idea how large this object would have to be for me to see it, which is going into a crater, by the way. That's the most incredible part of it, going inside of a crater. Not for nothing that they're hiding these videos, which is totally understandable. Happy to be here anyways for those that are interested in viewing these incredible findings, which never made it very far, but it doesn't matter. Those who want to see the truth can see the truth. Check this out, guys. If I was to tell you that these UFOs leaving the surface are being guided to go towards points that are already illuminating simultaneously or just about a few split seconds before the UFOs arrive, and you'll see it. I'm going to show it to you a couple of times. We're not going to rush through it because I want people to see and understand that the surface was blinding. So why is it dark? Get over it. I'm bringing it down for you to see this detail. If not, impossible to see. Do you see that? Watch this. Where the arrow is, there's a light there that appears before the UFO appears in that position. So is this some type of transportation on the surface of the moon? It remains beyond exciting because I've documented over 15 different types of UFOs. Hard to imagine. I'm telling you the truth, and we're going to look through a couple of them at the same time. So this one thrusts itself, large flame, and you can see it almost fizzes out or gets very bright red as it leaves, like stepping stones crossing the moon. Right. So we'll leave that one there, but I could have made a whole video just on that one. So this is one of 3 spaceships because it's a physical object, if you can call it a spaceship, right? A real life spaceship, not a Star Wars spaceship. Or maybe it is, but it's far away. Do you see how we can see that? We're going to go look at that, what I just showed you. But first, what never came out is that these objects leaving the moon, if it doesn't scare you, you can see other ones appearing in the center. So is it humans and aliens fighting? Let's go to the surface, see what it looks like. No, but seriously, I just don't know what to do anymore to try to get it out to other people. There's the other spaceship, and watch what I do with the same frame by adding green color, converting it, by bringing down the exposure. Watch what we see around that object that came up and plunged itself upwards out of the smokes for me to get a nice shot of it. That's like a controlled descent. This object is either leaving the moon because it's coming upwards, or it just came up and it went back down for whatever the reason. Maybe they saw the telescope, went back down. It's ridiculous that is not on the news. On top of this one, of course, a couple of years back, and it just remains that, for me, tells me that UFOs are leaving the surface of the moon, and they're leaving the inside of the moon. This is just at the bottom of Mare Fecunditatis, and just over top of where Apollo 11 supposedly said that they landed. They didn't show the public what happened. It was illustrations. They admitted it. Who knows? EMP attacks. This one that I caught over the house. Imagine if that was an object from China or Russia to try to take out the grid here, or some type of frequency weapon, chemical, who knows, but it remains something extremely scary. Look at the shapes changing forms and shape inside. This thing was 15 feet from me, guys. I was flipping out. You'll see the top of the low garage in my backyard at one point when it arrives to it. If we see it here in the frame, maybe not. And that, for me, is proof that there's some type of investigation that should be done about that. Another characteristics. This is not a UFO. It's an explosion or something happening on the surface. Whoop. Changing positions again. I was able to show that like almost 100 times, where we see the UFOs leave one position, go to another position. But simultaneously, again, like I showed at the beginning of the video, again, this is another instance. It's not just bullshit data that winds up on a website where the pros, that's what they do. They catch one sighting and they put it away after 3 weeks and just probably even destroy the evidence. This is a light system or a proof that there is someone on the moon. About 20 kilometers here in the whole frame. We're really zoomed up, maybe 30. And you can see simultaneously lights lighting up at the same time, like I showed at the beginning, where the UFO was changing positions, but a light was appearing on the surface before the UFO arrives there. So it could be some type of teleportation, but that's just restricted to the planet, to the moon, seriously. Or some type of hypersonic transportation. I mean, we have no idea. The technology that we have here on Earth is based on our atmosphere. It's based on our technology that we've gathered from studying and measuring all the atmosphere and weather around us, documenting everything. So if you're to change a planet and to try to do some type of tech or technology that we have here on Earth, it might not necessarily work on the moon. So watch the lights changing positions. It's a small, subtle proof, right? You'll say it happens fast and it's like, it's hard to see. Well, yeah, obviously they're not hiding from us. It's just that the moon is, the surface is restricted. It's hard to see the surface. But this is proof in itself that there's activity there, different characteristics, again, all throughout the video. But I'm showing this research in a way where we can prove there's something on the surface and that it's not just natural phenomena, especially not transient lunar phenomena, right? Because people say, oh, there's lights on the moon. Well, it's just an explosion or it's an asteroid hitting the moon. You know how rare it is to be able to capture an asteroid hitting the moon, NASA said? So what are the explosions? NASA themselves, whether we believe them or not, are confirming that it's not asteroids that I'm getting based on their science. So what else could it be? This one splits in two, appears in the smoke. So it's like I said it many years ago, it's almost like a UFO is creating another UFO that's coming just from the energy of that UFO. We even see a line between both of them as the other light scoots away from that light source. Watch. There's the light, illuminates, whoop, a black line appears that actually separates the smoke, and then another light takes off, and guess what? It takes off with the smoke around it, like the other light is deliberately actually camouflaging. I know, it sounds crazy. But not for me. Here's a UFO. We'll call it a UFO, right? It's going to drop an egg or whatever. There's another light. It's hard to explain that appears underneath it just before. You can see the separation there, in other words. And it plunges, inside of the crater. Do you think these captures are easy to see? They're not impossible, but they're not easy. And look at the billowing light and reaction maybe to the atmosphere in the moon. The atmosphere of the moon. There's an atmosphere there, even though they say it's lower than Earth's. Well, we'd have to go there probably ourselves to try to find out. Looks like a bird. Maybe it's a lunar bird. Nope, it's got a smoke trail and it's illuminating, so it's not that. Like, debris can exist in the atmosphere around the moon, but you know that debris is not going to change directions like that and stop like the spy balloon, that we just saw going over the States. Again, another characteristic, a cloud, a mist, and inside of the mist, there are UFOs there. There's something going on inside of these clouds that are traveling through thick lines of clouds or smoke or bright surfaces on the moon. And that's how they hide. They progress over top of the surface. I assure you, and this isn't just a theory, we're visually looking at some proof. Watch the stationary UFO on the right, so much happening. What's happening on the left? Close to it, is it something that dropped? Is it a BOMB? What are they doing? But we do see that it's a descent to the surface. It's coming out of some type of physical object that's too dark for us to see, but we can see it there by taking off, descending into the atmosphere of the moon. There's a whole lot of things going on. Different type of UFO. I call these like the ghost UFOs because they look like spirits. They look like angels. They look like, I don't know. I don't know what they look like. I haven't, I have no reference to guide myself to find out what a spirit looks like. I think there's many different paranormal sightings, and there's also different characteristics. Well, it's the same with the UFOs. Very different characteristics, whether we're talking ghosts, entities, it could be absolutely anything. Is there fighting going on the moon? Here's what looks like, if not projectiles, something coming from this illuminated UFO that, by the way, is on fire. And we're seeing a lot of lights on the surface that are interacting, we can say, with this mysterious light. And it's in a dark region of the moon, zoomed up. We're slowing it down. I'm trying to show everything. Check this out. We have a light here that is causing, and I often say this, causing smoke to appear on the surface. We've even seen some UFOs, what actually look like, sounds ridiculous, but chemtrailing the bloody surface of the moon. And watch this. When you bring the exposure down a lot, it always helps me to find out how strong and intense this light is and what's happening around it. Is it dropping something on the surface, causing explosions, and that we see these massive puffs of smoke on the surface? And it's not, it's big. It's not small. Yep. One snowfall, guys. This is what the snowstorm left. Just to get an idea of how damaging to the houses winter can really be. You see the gutter's busted there. The ice comes and it rips it off. I have to replace it every year. It's like 8 foot, like 4 feet of snow there. And the back of the garage with the wind the other day blew off. So I have all these pieces, luckily, that the snow left there for me. I'll be able to put that back up. Look at the thickness of the ice. That's snow over a big block of ice. The ice is as big as the gutter. That's one snowfall. There's the neighbor's roof. Oh my God. You can see all the snow that's accumulated on top. If you enjoyed the videos, if you like the research, and you want the videos to continue, take the time to subscribe and come back for more. Everyone, thanks for the generous contributions, and thanks for watching the videos.
Aliens are up there on the moon. They may be even coming right here soon. Aliens are landing on the moon. Yes, they are up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming soon.